So I've just come across a really interesting TikTok that I want you guys to see.
So I ran across a video on TikTok where somebody had claimed to not be able to see a plane at all through the camera or through his eyes unless he used a certain filter on Snapchat. And there are a few videos that make these same claims that we can't see certain things with our naked eyes, but only through a certain filter on our camera.
I haven't personally experienced this with the Snapchat camera or anything like that, but what it did remind me of was these pieces of dysyanin glass supposedly scattered all across Russia unexpectedly. Now, when you Google anything to do with dysyanin dye or dysyanin glass, it comes up with search results saying that it's basically illegal in like most countries and most areas, which is apparently due to the fact that when the dye is placed in between glass or a film of dye applied to a looking glass, it is supposedly said that it actually reveals a subject's aura. I found this brief paper on it from the British Institute of Radiology. You can find this on Google if you just type in dysyanin glass. Anyway, now there are versions of this all over the internet supposedly suggesting that if you buy this pair of glasses that have an element of the dye in it, you'd be able to see auras and essentially the paranormal. They're expensive, and considering this dye is extremely hard to access, I'm really not sure how legit these would be. The chemical compounds that make up this dye can be found on Reddit, but let's just leave that to the chemists. Now, the whole point of this is so that I can now show you this video that was taken in Russia, found in random locations scattered apparently all across Russia. If you can speak Russian, please help to translate in the comments, that would really help.
Еще, короче, целый час там простоял. Нифига больше не увидел. Ладно, давайте, всем пока.
Всем привет. Мне тут сказали, что в ролике у меня еще 2 шара пролетает мимо. Посмотрел. Точно. Давайте посмотрим.
Обычное небо, обычные люди, блядь, ходят, все нормально. Оп. Вот такая.
Вот они 2 шара. Тарелочка и 2 шара. Даже не заметил во время съемки, когда я снимал, что там.
Now let's also take into consideration the visibility of the human eye spectrum compared to that of other animals. Essentially, the human eye's primary colours can be broken up into basically 3. A mantis shrimp has 16 different colour receptors compared to that of our 3. So when considering all of the different species that seem to have such a vastly different perspective of the colour spectrum, it makes a little bit more sense that there would be stuff out there that we aren't able to see, which makes it so interesting to consider the possibility that there are things like these Snapchat filters and certain types of dyes that are really hard to access, what have you, that disconnects us from a certain portion of the perceivable human reality that we're bound to, and the physics that restrict us as human beings. Such a fun theory to explore. What do you think?